Welcome to the Online Meditation Center. So, today, I'm talking to those of you who have been on the search for spiritual enlightenment for a long time. For years. 4 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years. For a long time. And you're still searching. I'm talking to you who know all the lingo. You know, the spiritual guru babble. You could win any argument intellectually about self, no self, Advaita, Vedanta, anything. Intellectually, you know it all. But you're still searching. Most likely you have had some form of minor awakening, some form of taste of what you are, what truth is. And you have this sense that you're almost there, and you've been almost there for a long time. Or maybe not. But you know everything. You've seen all the gurus. You know all the Enlightenment speak. But you're still watching videos like this. You're still reading books about spiritual enlightenment. You're still searching. Still waiting for that special something to happen. Waiting to wake up completely. And most likely, you've come a long way, so to speak. You might know that everything that goes on in your head is meaningless. You know that thoughts are just that. They're just thoughts. And in the pursuit of truth, other than destroying themselves, they don't really have any value. They can't bring you to what you already are. Thoughts are merely noises in the mind. And they might be directed or not. They might pop up randomly, or you might consciously use them. But you do know that they can't bring you anywhere. Because if they could, you'd be awake. You'd be done. Because you know all of it. You've read tens of books, 20 books, 30 books. Been there, done that. You've done this meditation, used that technique. But you're still searching. Is that you? If you're a newbie who have just come to this realization that something is called enlightenment, and you might have caught on that, okay, there's really nothing, enlightenment doesn't actually exist, but there is something which is the realization of the fundamental truth of existence. It sounds really big, but it's really not. It's really basic. It's the most basic thing. I do have a video for the noobs, so you can go check that out, or you can watch this. It doesn't matter. It's still the same approach. But for those who have been everywhere, read everything, who've been discussing enlightenment with other seekers, often with great emotion, and, you know, everybody tries to be more enlightened than the next guy. Every ego tries to capture the other guy's ego in saying something wrong. Oh, you can't say that because then you're not enlightened. If you knew you were actually nothing, you couldn't say that because you show that you have an identity. I can see yourself. You have a self. You don't have no self. And it's beautiful, you know? But all of that, that's an intellectual trap. It's meaningless. Because you are everything. You're nothing, everything, and something. Of course, fundamentally, it's all just nothing, appearing as all of these things, but you can't deny them. But whatever, that's not what this video is about. But I'm sure that if you've been in this game for a while, you've bumped into people like that, or you might be a person like that, and there's nothing wrong with it. Once upon a time, I was a person like that, but it's a long time ago. So, what do? You know all this, but you're still seeking. And the thing is, the good thing about having done all of this, read all of that, is that you kind of have primed your mind to seeing that thoughts are meaningless. You can't really trust them to bring you to the truth. Thoughts are actually just distractions. As I said, they're a good tool to destroy themselves. But that's all they can do. If they do anything more than that, then you're more or less just identifying with them and thinking that they're saying something true or important when they're in reality not, when they don't. So that's why we say you have to let it go. Are you willing to let it all go? Because all this baggage is now clouding your vision. It's holding you trapped, holding you prisoner. Because the truth is right here. So there's nowhere to go. And even this, the mind, since it's so smart, the intellect was, oh, there's nowhere to go. That must mean something, like it must have a really profound, deep, intricate meaning. Like a great intellect might think of the Zen koan, what's the sound of one hand clapping? Oh, it must be so deep, but no. The sound is nothing. There is no sound. It's silence. It's blindingly obvious. You have nowhere to go. to find truth. And plunging into the now. And destroying all your baggage, your mental baggage, all your thoughts, all your ideas, all your beliefs, is as simple as not thinking about it. Not paying attention to your thoughts. No matter how smart something a guru said is, and no matter how right it might be, thinking about it and clinging to the truth of that statement is the very thing trapping you. It's a good pointer. Let it point you and forget all about it. That includes what I'm saying now. Don't let it become another mantra, because then you are equally as trapped. So, there's a portal, because I like portals. There's a non-existent portal to the truth of your being, and it exists now. And the portal is your senses, are your senses. Sound, smell, tactile sensation. What more? What more? What's all of them? I don't even know. They're just one soup, really. But your senses are the portal. So, let go of your mental baggage right now by tuning into your senses right now. And tuning in is there's no complicated thing. That's just being silent and being aware of the sounds in your reality, of the feeling of sitting in a couch, on a chair, feeling the temperature, the smells, the tastes, being aware of the information your senses are giving you here and now. And only being aware of the sounds completely will empty your mind completely from mental noise. And remember, every thought is mental noise. Doesn't matter who said the smart thing you're thinking about. If you're hearing voices in your head, it's meaningless static if you're trying to find the source of your being. Doesn't matter if Moji said it, Adyashanti, Eckhart Tolle, Osho, Jed McKenna. Doesn't matter who said it. If you hear it in your head, that's the very thing trapping you. And I'm not saying you can't think. You can think as much as you want. The problem is that until you know what you are, and you know that everything going on in your mind is just noise or a tool, it doesn't help you. It will distract you. So if you're still searching, everything going on in here is the very barrier you must remove. And the easiest way to remove it is to simply tune into your senses. Because they're always telling you what's going on. They're always sending sensory information to you. And it has no attached concepts, no attached added onto itself meaning. It's just a pure sensory stimuli being registered by this awareness which registers it, which is completely nameless if you don't point to yourself and say, I'm Ben, I'm a human being, I'm this, I'm that, you're this and that. That's just more noise. No, it's just pure sound, pure tactile information, pure taste, pure smell. So just be aware of your sense perceptions. And when you're completely aware of that, now, because you can't be aware of your sense stimuli yesterday or tomorrow, so if you're aware of what you're hearing it now. So you're here now. So when you're completely aware of these, and your mind is silent, because as soon as you start to think something, you will be pulled out. And you won't be completely aware of your sense perceptions anymore. So then get your ass back in here. So when you're aware of that completely, then add the awareness of being alive. Not anyone in particular being alive, because for anyone in particular to be alive, you have to actually add a thought, a mental concept, a mental label onto it. No, there's just a knowing of this exists. So be aware of your sense perceptions. And when that is pure HD, high definition, no static, you add on to that the awareness of this exists. I exist. Not I as a person, not I as consciousness, not I as anything, just exists. Life is. It doesn't take any thoughts to be aware of that. You innately have the sense that something exists. So you use your sense perceptions to pull you into now. And then you are aware of existence existing. You could say that's a perfect meditation. And there you go. Okay? There you go. Here you go. That's the portal. Just hold that awareness forever. You don't need any teachings. You don't need anything. You just be aware of your sense perceptions in their pure form and aware of existing. And your mind will become, fed up that quickly and start to think, what? But this guru said that, and this is not no self, or this is a self, or this is blah blah blah, and whatever. You just push that away. Stay aware of your sense perceptions without putting any concepts or labels onto them, and be aware of existing. For how long? I don't know. It's right here, right now. But how long do you have to keep it? As I say in my little book, The Fire of Zen, truth does not burn. Your awareness is the fire that burns everything which is untrue. And using your awareness to be aware of your sense perceptions and the fact that this exists, is keeping the flame on everything that is untrue. This is the only death of all your knowledge. Simply not paying attention to it. And then you keep the awareness on the fact of existing, focused through the lens of your pure sense perceptions. It starts perhaps just a few minutes, but you pull yourself back every time you remember. And you make sure to expand the periods of time that you're aware. And every time you think that it's not enough and you start to think of some other teaching, some other technique that might bring you somewhere, you just remember, oh, all of that does not exist. It's here now. And it's not in thought. It's not in things. It's what I am. You don't have to talk about it. You don't have to know anything. You just stay here. Because this is so simple and it's so difficult. Because it's so simple and we're so stressed out. Our mind always fleeing everywhere. We ignore this. But either you find it here, in this existence existing now, or you won't find it. You'll simply overlook it forever. So if you're still searching for enlightenment after years and years of searching, it means you haven't actually been here. And you don't even have to look very, very, very deeply. You just be aware of your sense perceptions. And be aware of existing in this moment. And it will all open up. All on its own. That's the only thing you have to do. Just direct your awareness to your senses and the fact of existing. And you will start to see that when you do that, when you disappear into thought again and you start to think about all the spiritual concepts and ideas you've learned, you're actually feeling less chilled out, less relaxed, less whole when you start dribbling with all of that mental garbage. And then you just take yourself back here to your sense perceptions. The sounds of the wind outside, whatever. The feel of your butt on the couch, not going anywhere, just being here. And you're aware of existing. And don't expect anything to happen. Don't wait for anything. Remember that this is for those seekers who have been searching for a long time. If you're a complete noob, there might be some things we need to go through first, like deleting a lot of beliefs actively, like using your thoughts to destroy themselves. So there's different things, you know, but basically this is the way. But if you haven't been through all of that and destroyed yourself, so to speak, and you know everything you think is bullshit, then you might need to get to the place where you know everything you think is bullshit. Or else you'll sit here and be tuned in to your sense perceptions and existing, and there will come a thought and you will believe the thought to be true. So somebody just wakes up and it doesn't matter, everything just falls away. But for most of us, that's not the way it happens. And so then it might be more optimal to actively destroy our beliefs. But once all of that is done, if you're still searching, it just means you haven't been here enough. Because this is where you live. This is where you exist. So, 2 things. Tune in to your senses until you're silent in your mind and you're just aware of the senses. And then be aware of existing. And hold it. That's it. Peace out.